Hello, tender-hearted viewers, and welcome to Animal World, our co-inhabitants. On today's program, we present the first in a two-part series featuring a fascinating discussion with Sharon Callahan, a vegan telepathic animal communicator and the founder of Anaflora, a US-based company that produces flower essences to heal animals and provides animal communication services. Miss Callahan is also the author of Healing Animals Naturally with Flower Essences and Intuitive Listening. Miss Callahan now describes how, as a young child, she learned that she could communicate with animals.
My initial experiences were when I was a child, and the very first experience was with a praying mantis. I was in the backyard of my home, and my cat was crouched down in the corner of our patio intently looking at something. And I was probably 4 or 5, and I got down on my belly so I'd be right at eye level with her, and looked into the eyes of this creature that looked like a space alien. It's kind of scary. And the cat was trying to get the praying mantis. I didn't even know what a praying mantis was at the time. But very clearly the praying mantis said, "Don't let the cat get me. I have children. I can't die now." And so I took all the courage I had to put my finger out and let that praying mantis get on there, and I put it up in a willow tree. And the mantis told me that it would repay the favor, which, as we go along, I can illustrate has happened over and over and over again.
As Sharon Callahan grew up and became busy with everyday life, she gradually stopped communicating with animals. One day, she became extremely ill and had a near-death experience that changed her life forever.
So, one evening, with a very high fever, I was making my way back to the bed, and I kind of collapsed into the bed and had an experience of rising up out of my body and then looking at myself from up at the ceiling, and then realizing that my consciousness was being pulled away from my body, and I began to look up at what I thought would be the ceiling, which turned out to be the night sky. And I went through a kind of tube of light through the night sky, through the stars, for what seemed to be a long period of time, which I think in actuality was about 4 or 5 minutes. And at a certain point I came up in an almost tactile sense against a kind of membrane, bounced against it, and all of a sudden, poof, I found myself in just a magical environment that was filled with nothing but animals of all kinds. Animals that you would not normally find together, you know, polar bears and lions and elephants, cats, dogs, insects of all kinds. And everywhere I would shift my gaze, there was a different landscape with different kinds of animals. And I had the thought, am I in heaven? And as I thought, am I in heaven, the animals answered, no, you can't go that far. You're just here to talk to us. And so in the course of what seemed like a very long time, the animals instructed me on ways in which my life had become kind of misguided or off track, and that I was to go back to Earth, and that they would help me go back, and that when I got back I was to become a voice for the animals, and that I would make a kind of healing elixir for animals that would help to heal them and to heal the people that they lived with. And one of the animals in this experience was an all-white cat with a blue and yellow eye. And so having met my cat Lotus Moon, you can see that here 25 years later she showed up, and in the near-death experience she told me she was the cat that was coming to me in the future. So then at the culmination of this experience, the animals led me back to this tube of light, and they sent me back through the tube with a blessing, and I moved back through the stars and into my room, and I could view my body in the bed, thinking, oh, how pathetic she looks, I better get in there quick.
After this event, Miss Callahan discovered that she had a remarkable new talent.
over a period of 3 or 4 months, I had almost total amnesia. And it was during that period of amnesia, I was very childlike, so I would go out into the forest behind my house, and I was just overcome with this urge to take bowls of water out and float the flowers in them. And I didn't know a rose from a buttercup, so it wasn't done at all from a mind level, but I was directed by Spirit simply to do these things and to literally listen to the spirits of the plants talk to me. And these potions later became flower essences that have now grown into a business, which I, of course, had no idea at the time that I would be doing. But it was really in that childlike state that I began to hear animals talk again. And not only animals, but the kind of overlapping energies in nature between the animals and the plants. How the plants and the flowers could help the animals and heal them. When you make a flower essence, you just float a few of the blossoms on a bowl of water, and the sunlight imprints the signature of the flower to the water, so there's no fragrance.
News about Sharon Callahan and her extraordinary ability to heal animals with flower essences spread quickly, and it was not long before her tinctures were in great demand.
As I progressed, I met my partner, who is still with me 25 years later, and he began to take notes and photographs of the plants as I went along, and so created a kind of diary of what I was doing, which became this book eventually. And really, literally, with no effort on my part, people began to contact me about their animals, and I began to give them flower essences, and more people came, and at first the essences were the more popular thing. And then it simply shifted itself more in the direction of communication with animals. People would call me and I would give them advice, and along the way someone suggested I should send some of my flower essences out to veterinarians, which I did. Using my intuition, somebody would mention this person or that person, and a number of veterinarians began using them in their veterinary clinics. Primarily a veterinarian, Bob Goldstein, in Westport, Connecticut, and he tested many of them for me in his veterinary practice and had fabulous results.
Miss Callahan has developed a wide variety of flower essences. Some help cats overcome their avoidance of litter boxes, others soothe nervousness in dogs and cats. How does she create these remedies?
All of the flowers that went in the particular formulas and the names that would simply come to me without any thought. So the first formula that was made was called Return to Joy, which is still the most popular of all the Anaflora essences. And it's simply to relieve animals of the suffering that they've incurred at the hands of people, whether that suffering arises out of the collective consciousness or their own personal experience. But a lot of my time is spent making special flower essence formulas for individuals, which is really my main thing that I love to do, because they all are uniquely individual.
Miss Callahan is grateful for even the smallest of God's creatures. She recalls a loving gift once received from a spider.
I mean, they're the weavers of life. They do these incredible webs. When I was in the writing phase after I was sick, I had my computer set up at a window in the autumn, and there was an odd-looking white spider that appeared on the outside of the window, and every day when I would write, she would kind of drop down on her web there, kind of right at my eye level, and I just kind of fell in love with her. And then I had a little Buddha statue on one side of the windowsill on the inside, and I found that she would gravitate over there. And I ended up making a whole little altar for her along that window ledge, and so she dropped down every day at my eye level and say hello, and she'd drop down and she'd look at the altar. And then after about 3 months, I came to my computer and she wasn't there. And honestly, it was one of the most devastating moments of my life. I mean, I've been through a lot of difficult things, but it just was heart-wrenching. I ran outside, I looked everywhere, the web was gone, probably from the wind, and she was gone. But she gave me an incredible gift, because one thing that I realized when she would drop down there and she continued to make this web that was so intricate and exacting, was that she was helping me kind of retrain my brain to think and calculate and organize things, which had all kind of disappeared with the Lyme disease, which actually affected me neurologically. So I connected with her through dreams. I would go to sleep at night and ask her to please connect with me and let me know she was all right. And she said, "Oh, certainly I'm fine. I've just gone on because I came in to do my job. I got you organized and you're organized now and I'm fine, don't worry." So the tiniest little creature like that can have the most tremendous gift for us. And even when we notice an animal or an insect in our day-to-day life, we tend to look and we might greet it with respect, but then we forget. And maybe it's actually showing up over and over again and we're not aware enough. So gifts galore, they're everywhere.
Sharon Callahan, we thank you for providing us with a glimpse into the wonderful inner world of animals and for introducing us to flower essences as a mode of treatment for our animal friends. For more information on Sharon Callahan and Anaflora floral essences for animals, please visit www.anaflora.com. Miss Callahan's book, Healing Animals Naturally with Flower Essences and Intuitive Listening, is available at the same website. Please join us again tomorrow on Animal World, our co-inhabitants, as we continue our illuminating interview with Sharon Callahan on topics such as a valuable lesson we can learn from peacocks and what whales think about humans. Esteemed viewers, thank you for your company today on our program. May all lives be forever filled with the light and grace of heaven.
For more details, please see www.suprememastertv.com/AW.